What's up with it, y'all? It's JD and James, and we're back with another quick video. And today we're going to be talking about idolatry and how you can't really idolize, or you shouldn't really idolize a lot of these, people who may be influencers, celebrities, athletes, things of that nature. It's always great to be inspired by somebody, but idolizing somebody is a whole nother rabbit hole that you can go down. Now, before we get into the video, if you guys are interested in fitness, mindset, and overall growth, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you can get updated every time we drop new content. But let's get back to the video. James, I know you wanted to touch on this topic, and you were talking about how idolizing people can kind of limit yourself and kind of put that glass ceiling above your head. So we'll speak on that.
I really want to dive into your guys' mindset. And when we got together and we decided, we're going to start up high octane calisthenics, one of our main thing was there's so much information out there, there's so much technical advice, training advice and stuff like that, but we really think that the driving force behind it all is actually the mindset. And idolatry, or this unhealthy looking at these figures that might currently be, they're doing feats of strength right now that you might not be capable of doing, and they might have been at this for 10 or 15 years. But when it gets unhealthy is when people start putting limitations on themselves and actually thinking that the person that they're looking up to is at a level that they could never reach, or maybe even far surpass. I've seen this countless times. There's 20-year-old kids, 18-year-old kids, and they've made insane progress. They might be 3 years into their journey and they're just not seeing it. They're watching people that right now are kind of currently have a large following, and they've got good video editing, and they're posting their best sets, and they're posting with this great lighting, and they almost have like this view of those people as being gods, or almost like they're just born like that. And what happens when you get in that unhealthy mindset is you actually will subconsciously put a limit on yourself. Let's say you're doing pull-ups, and you might see the pull-up world record for something might be 60 pull-ups. I have no idea what it is, but you might actually have 65 in the tank. I don't know who I'm speaking to, but you might be that person that has 65 in the tank, but you put it in your head, you put a limitation. You said, because that's what another human has done, I'm going to limit myself to that. Don't place mental limitations on your physical capabilities. I'm pretty new to calisthenics. I've been in this arena for maybe a year and a half, and I've seen feats of strength in all different arenas. And if I had to make a guess, I would say 5 or 10 years from now, you're gonna see calisthenics athletes that absolutely blow the current top level athletes out of the water. It's not even gonna be recognizable. It's almost gonna be like how the UFC, when you look at UFC 1 and you look how the heavyweights from back then would probably be losing to the lightweight UFC fighters of today. This is still an early sport, and we are not even close to the human potential. So when you're looking at these current pioneers of this sport, just know that they are a starting point, and take some information, but don't view them in any way as a limit, or as anywhere close to what the human potential is. The human potential is far past what we've seen so far.
Yeah, none of these people who are currently, doing any sport, any athletic, that's not the end-all be-all of athletics. You might look at somebody like LeBron James or somebody like Michael Jordan. There's somebody out there who can surpass these people on a physical level, on a skill level. And, I think the one thing where these athletes, these top-level athletes, where they kind of have a lot of people beat is in their mindset. In their mindset that they can be the greatest. Their mindset is that they don't want anybody to touch them. Michael Jordan didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to embarrass you. That's the type of mindset that you need to tap into when it comes down to your training, when it comes down to your athletic performance, anything of that nature. And when you look at somebody else as being above you, that's when you you get into that mindset of like self-defeat. because you've already put a limitation on yourself. You've already said this person is better than you. So what happens, I remember when I was a kid, I actually thought about this. I was maybe like 12 years old at the time. And one of my favorite players in the NBA was like, I think 21 at the time. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I'm like looking up to this person. But in 10 years, it's a possibility if I was to make it to the NBA, I could actually be playing against this person. So it's almost super unhealthy, even at a young age, to idolize these professional athletes, or even idolize these, entertainers, or whatever your field might be. This doesn't just, this isn't limited to calisthenics. This is kind of something where, in life, you kind of have to admire people and, use them as an inspiration. But you should still have in the back of your mind, I can do that and I can do more. And I can put my unique twist on it as well. Because if you want to actually break down what idolatry is, it's just basically putting somebody on a pedestal. It's putting somebody ahead of yourself. Like James said earlier, you're worshiping this person as a god. And, that goes into a whole nother, topic for another day. But these are things that are unhealthy practices. When it comes down to any aspect of life, you shouldn't be putting anybody on a pedestal. You should always view yourself as, somebody who can achieve anything. There is no limitations to anything that you can do. Just like James mentioned in a previous video, if you're 5'9" and you're playing basketball, you should max out your potential. There's no reason why you can't be better than somebody who's 6'7".
Yeah, I just wanted to add, if you're gonna look up to someone and appreciate their ability, appreciate their work ethic, appreciate how many years they've put into it, appreciate how they started at one place and their change was tremendous.
Appreciate their mentality.
The end product.
Yeah, appreciate their mentality. Don't appreciate the end product, just like James said. Because if you get too caught up on the end product, then you're never going to be able to attain your own end product. If you get too busy caught up on how great James's physique is, then you're not even going to have the time or the mental space to train yourself. You know what I mean? This is just, we're our own science experiments. We're our own tests that we're running each and every day. We want to push our limits, see how far we can take things. And, let's just say, for instance, one thing I love about James is that when we come out here, he's, like you said, he's been doing calisthenics for a year and a half. We'll come out here and he's like, man, what's the world record for this? What's the world record? That's beatable. You know what I mean? That's the type of mentality that you need to have, especially for you young guys who are looking at, somebody like a James, or you're looking at, some of these other high level calisthenics athletes, or any type of athletes. It could be whatever sport you're playing. You need to have the mentality like, what's the world record and what is it going to take? How hard do I need to train where I can get to that world record, and then what's that next level that I need to kick into to get over the top, to beat that world record?
I actually want to touch on something for me personally. Back when I was 14 years old, I got into powerlifting for a little while. And back then, this is like the way old days of YouTube. This is like, Elliot Hulse had he had 150 views. I was watching his information. And what was so interesting is back in the day, an 800-pound deadlift, that was the best in the world. This was actually mind-blowing to me that I fell out and I stopped training for a while, and then I came back 5 years. So back in the day, there was these people that were considered the best in the world back then, pretty much like the cream de la cream, the absolute best there was. And now I came back 8 years later, and then I looked at these people, and they're now considered mediocre. They're actually now considered like, someone at your local gym is actually beating these old records. And the reason why is the training methodologies have improved so much. And then people have seen that barrier pushed, and now they have it in their head what's possible. So this is still a very early sport. So I'm not even kidding.
So just touching on that, you have to look at it like that. You said the training methodologies, the training methodologies have improved incrementally, right? And sometimes they've improved exponentially, right? So what do you guys think of when you think of these methodologies changing and these training tactics changing? The first thing that comes into my mind is creativity. So if all you're doing is going off of somebody else's training tactics, then you're never going to be able to surpass what they're doing, because they've already gotten a head start on you on their training tactics, and they might be putting in more hours or whatever it may be. So when you come out and you train or you play a certain sport, get creative with it. Think about ways that you can do things to get ahead of the competition. Even if you just think of some, random, just a piece of equipment. The other day, James keeps laughing about this dip that I did on this pole, but it's just like, it's just something else to do. You never know that could, I actually felt like a real good pump in my chest and in my triceps when I did that exercise. It's something I had never seen before, but at the same time, it's like, it's just another aspect of training. So you can get creative in terms of your training tactics. If you're a basketball player, you can get creative in terms of, put yourself through some type of an obstacle course and then have somebody push you while you're doing your layups at the end of your drill or something, or somebody push you while you're shooting your jump shots, or push you while you're trying to dunk, or whatever it may be. These are all little intricacies that you can throw into your training that might be able to push you over the top. Do something that somebody else isn't doing. Don't just follow what they're doing.
I just want to touch on one mental limitation. This is another thing that me and him wholeheartedly agree on. I mean, we have many different training philosophies, but one thing that we are like 110% on is the 7 days per week. And this was the biggest epiphany I ever had in training, was that our muscles aren't fragile. When you push it hard 7 days a week, yeah, you're gonna regress. Yes, you're gonna have days where you feel weak. Yes, you're gonna have days where you show up and you're gonna be 3 or 4 reps below your previous pull-up. That's because you're fatigued. A lot of times it's actually your central nervous system's fatigued, so you don't have the energy output on that day. But that doesn't mean that you actually got weaker. That just means you're in this temporary little valley, and if you could keep pushing it, not getting injured and eating healthy and staying disciplined, that's when you're gonna start seeing these insane results. And a lot of times what drives me insane is you'll see different information out there that, the max you need to train is 3 days per week or 4 days per week or something like that. And I'm not saying you can't make great progress. So don't take this the wrong way. You can definitely make great progress on even probably 1 or 2 days a week. But I'm just saying, take off these limitations you have. Rethink your views on what recovery means. Rethink your views on what diet means. Open your mind to experimentation. Take note on how you feel, how you perform.
Don't have a negative connotation when it comes down to training. Don't have a negative connotation when it comes down to eating clean. Don't have a negative connotation when it comes down to self-improvement. Self-improvement is a great thing. Self-improvement is a lifestyle. Training 7 days a week is a lifestyle. Eating clean every day, or at least trying to do your best to eat as clean as possible, is a lifestyle. These are things that are actually working towards the greater good. Improving longevity, improving performance, improving, life fulfillment. These are all things that are actually going to help you in the long run. So there's no reason to look at these things as a negative thing. When I eat clean, I feel better. When I eat junk food, I might feel a high instantaneously, but then what ends up happening is I end up feeling like crap for the next 24 hours until I get it out of my system. So these are things that you need to take into consideration. It goes back to the instant gratification versus the delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. Being outdoors, getting in touch with nature. We were talking about this earlier. This is what we were designed to do. We're designed to get outside, move our bodies, stay mobile, eat clean, be healthy. That's what we're designed to do. Absorb energy from the sun, cultivate, get creative. That's what we were put on this planet to do. We weren't put on this planet to eat McDonald's. We weren't put on this planet to lay around and watch TV. That's not what we're designed to do.
Yeah, I mean, if I could add, kind of a final touch. A lot of times we look at these end products and, me and you have both been down so many, we've gone up, we've fallen off the wagon, and we built ourselves back up so many times. It's kind of funny when people are like kind of admiring the fitness level, and it's like, really, no, you have it all wrong. It's all in our mindset. We have the blueprint. You could literally take away all of our fitness adaptations. If you could take out our brain and then just install it into some random person's body who's like 30 years old and who's never worked out in their life, within about 2 to 3 years, we'd probably be right back where we are now, because all of this was built over a long period of time of doing the wrong things, falling off, taking note of that. So we know how to actually build it back up. We have the blueprint now. It's not about, and you see this a lot of times with someone, they get started early and they follow a program, and that gives them good results, but they don't understand why that program was working. And when you can actually like dissect and you actually understand why you're eating what you eat, and you can, because then you can actually diagnose, like when you have different problems, you can actually diagnose what's wrong. But a lot of times if you're just following somebody else's program, you know, somebody sells a 12-week program and it works great, you do get results. But the person that wrote that is the architect. They wrote everything in for a specific reason. And if you're not understanding the why behind that, you're going to be perpetually needing their coaching. You're going to need them to drip you or feed you.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about getting it from the mud in any aspect of life. You know what I mean? Is that you're in the trenches 24/7. So you are understanding what's going on. You know what I mean? How to adapt to this situation, how to adapt to this situation, how to adapt to this training environment, how to adapt to this training technique, how to adapt to this diet or that diet. I've tried a bunch of different diets. I've tried a bunch of different training techniques. I've played a bunch of different sports in my life. And, you know, and just like James said, if you want to take it to a deeper level, I've been in a lot of different circumstances in life. I've been up, I've been down, I've been in the middle, I went back up. So, you know, these are all things to take note of. But back to the original topic, idolatry is basically, you know, it's a cancer, in my opinion, and it's a cancer to society, because you have a lot of people in this society who are idolizing celebrities, idolizing athletes, idolizing whoever it may be, and they don't have any self-belief. And what ends up happening is they end up putting their power into that person that they idolize. But anyways, guys, I want to touch on this on another video, but that's it for this video today. We'll highlight you guys later. Hit up our website, highoctanecalisthenics.com. If you guys are interested in training, hit up my website, travelsthenics.com. Book a free consultation with me. Hit us up on High Octane Calisthenics. Check out our blogs. James has been doing a phenomenal job on the blogs lately. And check out our other content. Hit us up on Instagram as well, at High Octane Calisthenics. Hope everybody's having a great day. Peace.